You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report Scoreboard Show, podcast number 281.1. All the sports news from Central Indiana, America's number one sports hotspot, and for America's best sports fans. Pacers, Fever, Colts, IndyCar, IU, Purdue, Ball State, and the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana, your daily audio sports page.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. Today is May 30th, 2025. It's a Friday. I really wish I could be as enthusiastic about it being Friday as I usually am. But Thursday night was just no good. But even when the Pacers lose, it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengels, podcasting today from headquarters in Jeffersonville. Producer Susie is in the control room. Coming up, Pacers-Knicks Game 5 did not go our way. We have the Stanley Cup Finals matchup, plus lots of high school softball, baseball, and track results. But first, this is the part of the podcast where I ask you to please go to our YouTube page and subscribe so you don't miss a single segment. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It is easy to find. Also, late Thursday, Mike Rich, Will Rutherford, John Robertson, and I broke down the Pacers' ugly Game 5 loss to the New York Knicks. We had a lot to say. Go find that one again. We released that late Thursday night. Your Indiana Pacers only needed one win in their last three Eastern Conference Finals games against the Knicks to advance to the NBA Finals for the second time in franchise history. And on Thursday night, that's exactly the way they played. Like there were no worries at all. Let's hope they're right. In Thursday's Game 5, the Pacers felt like they were in pretty good position after the first quarter. There were times early in the second half when it felt like the Pacers were going to make their inevitable move, but it just was not to be. The Knicks pounded the Pacers 111-94 Tuesday at the Garden, and now the Pacers have two games left to get the job done. The next opportunity will be Saturday at 8 back at the Fieldhouse. It was literally the Pacers' worst performance since a 140-110 home loss to the dreadful Spurs in January. They haven't lost back-to-back games since early March. I guess that's the good news. So let's hope that they get the job done on Saturday and don't regret not showing up for a playoff game.
Nah, they played harder than us, I think. I think they played harder than us. Loose balls, like rebounds, like all that. We got to be able to win that battle.
That was Pascal Siakam. Only one player did show up for the Pacers. That was Benedict Mathurin, who was great on Thursday night with 23 points and 9 rebounds off the bench after scoring just 11 points in the first three games of the series combined. He was 6 for 10 from the field and 9 for 9 at the foul line. The rest of the Pacers shot under 40% from the field and had 20 turnovers. Tyrese Halliburton, who was the talk of the town after his Game 4 performance a couple of days ago, laid a complete egg with 8 points.
Yeah, rough night for me. I got to be better, setting the tone, getting downhill. I feel like I didn't do a great job of that. But I watched the film. There were some different things they did defensively. But for the most part, I think their base stuff was the same. They picked up the pressure a little bit more, tried to apply more as the game went on. But yeah, I got to be better, and I'll be better in Game 6. But I'll watch the film and learn from it like I always try to do, and be prepared for Game 6.
Miles Turner was also bad with 5 points. Andrew Nembhard scored just 6 and looked lost most of the game. And Aaron Nesmith scored 3 points on his gimpy ankle. The Pacers starters combined for 37 points, with Pascal Siakam scoring 15 of those.
Well, to start the game, we just didn't have the right level of force, the right level of attitude necessary, in this environment. It was a bad start. We never had a lead in the game. And so there were a multitude of things that were going wrong.
Jalen Brunson was brilliant and overdramatic and a bit floppy like usual for the Knicks. He scored 32 points, and Karl Anthony Towns had his third straight double-double with 23 points and 13 rebounds. I had more, but I just can't.
They took out the Kings in L.A., the Golden Knights in Vegas, now the Stars in Dallas, and the Oilers are headed for a rematch with the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final.
The Edmonton Oilers will join the Florida Panthers back in the Stanley Cup Finals after Thursday's 6-3 win in Dallas. They won the series 4-1. The Oilers lost in 7 games last year to the Panthers in the Cup Final, including 2-1 in Game 7, and haven't won a cup since 1990. The last Stanley Cup hoisted by a Canadian team was 32 years ago. Game 1 of the finals is Wednesday, June 4th in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We had lots of local high school action on Thursday night, including our boys track and field regionals. Noblesville won its first regional championship in 20 years Thursday, beating rivals Hamilton Southeastern Fishers and Westfield for the title. Angel Wilson won the 100 and 200, and Banner Barnes won the 1600 and led a 1-2-3 Noblesville sweep in the 800 meters. At Fort Wayne Carroll, New Haven held off Yorktown to win the program's first regional championship. Yorktown senior Ephraim Doherty won the long jump championship with a leap of 22 feet 7 inches. And Franklin Central snapped Mount Vernon's 2-year reign as the regional champions at Lawrence Central. It's the first regional title for Franklin Central since 2001. Mount Vernon finished 4th behind the champion Flashes, Lawrence North, and North Central in a very tight team battle. The great Ahmed Salah won the 1600 and the 3200, and Caden Casada won the 800 regional championships for the Marauders. We will have team results from all over Indiana, and we will have results and top finishers and local competitors later Friday on our boys track and field regional scoreboard show. That'll be this afternoon. We had a few sectional championships in softball Thursday. Again, softball will have a full scoreboard later for you today, but here are some of the highlights. Harrison beat Kokomo 11-1 at Harrison to win the sectional championship. Noblesville beat Zionsville 9-4 in the Fisher sectional. Greenfield Central beat Anderson 21-0 to win the sectional at Mount Vernon. Mississinawa took the Norwell sectional championship with an 8-3 win over Belmont. Yorktown blasted Hamilton Heights 14-3 to win the Delta sectional. Host Rossville beat Delphi 15-1 for a sectional championship. Rochester won the Oak Hill sectional by pounding rival Manchester 16-1. Reigning 2A North champion Lapel beat Elwood 13-1 at Elwood. And Ryland Young threw a complete game shutout in Hagerstown's 3-0 win over Shenandoah at Centerville. Western and Logansport won semifinals in the 3A sectional at Logansport. Western beat West Lafayette 14-0 behind Brindley Herb's 19th and 20th home runs of the season. And Logansport beat Peru 14-1. The Panthers and Barry split 2 regular season games. At Frontier, Carroll beat Clinton Central 5-0, and Clinton Prairie beat the host Falcons 7-2 in the semifinals. Again, scores from across the state and the highlights from all of the local sectionals coming later Friday on the softball sectional scoreboard show. And our local high school baseball scores, they're all quarterfinals unless I say otherwise. At Logansport, Western beat West Lafayette 4-0, and Northwestern got past Mechanicsville 4-3. It'll be Delta and Hamilton Heights in Monday's championship at Yorktown. 2-time defending champion Delta beat Jay County 10-0 behind Cabe Stebbins shutout, and Heights beat the host Tigers 4-3. Tipton and Lapel won semifinal games at Lapel. The number 1 Bulldogs beat Elwood 21-0, and Tipton won a shootout against Sheridan 15-10. Centerville upset Northeastern 9-8, and Shenandoah beat Winchester 6-3 in a battle of top 10 teams at Winchester. And Daleville and Northfield won quarterfinal games at Westdale. Daleville beat number 5 North Miami 6-4 in one of the upsets of the night. And Northfield beat winless rival Southwood 6-1. And at Central Catholic, Delphi beat North Montgomery 4-0. Once again, we will have full details on baseball sectionals, softball sectionals, and the track and field regionals later Friday. And we will preview the girls' tennis semi-states. So sorry to golf that I didn't have time to compile those results from Thursday. Your time is coming, I promise. Also, the NCAA track and field regionals and the college softball World Series are underway. We will have results of those for you on Saturday's Central Indiana Scoreboard Show. Thank you so much for listening. Please tell a friend. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.